Good afternoon and welcome to Real Estate Today on ConsumerHallaTV. You already know this platform is where we give you real estate insights, real estate policy updates, and consumer protection in Nigeria. I am Elizabeth Abefe.
And good afternoon, I am Irimofe Koforola. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, in Nigeria today, land remains one of the most valuable and sought-after assets, seen not just as a property, but as a pathway to financial security and long-term wealth.
But while the opportunities are expanding, so are the risks associated with it. From unclear land titles to shifting government policies and questionable promo offers, navigating the real estate market is becoming increasingly complex.
And that is why Real Estate Today goes beyond the surface, bringing you verified information, expert insight, and practical guidance to help you make smarter property decisions.
And not just that, because today's conversation is one every investor, aspiring landowner, and everyday Nigerian needs to pay attention to.
And before we dive into today's topic, which is land policy and profit, like that is understanding Nigeria real estate market, we will be taking the news surrounding the real estate today. Nigeria housing market struggles with costs despite strong demand. The Nigeria real estate sector continues to face intense pressure from rising inflation, high interest rates, and escalating building material costs, particularly cement, steel, and imported fittings. Developer says project costs have surged significantly over the past year, forcing many to delay or scale down construction. However, demand remains resilient, especially in urban centers like Lagos and Abuja, driven by rapid population growth, rural-urban migration, and a housing deficit estimated in the tens of millions. Analysts note a shift in investor behavior from speculative and banking to rental income and short-let investments, particularly in high-demand areas like Lekki, Ibeju-Lekki, and the Abuja city outskirts.
Also on the news this afternoon is real estate expert projects that residential property prices in Nigeria could rise between 5% and 15% in 2026, depending on the location and property type. Prime areas in Lagos, such as Ikoyi, Victoria Island, and Lekki, are expected to see the highest increases due to limited land availability and sustained demand from high-income earners and diaspora investors. In the mid-income segments, rising costs are gradually pushing buyers toward suburban areas like Mowe and Ekpe, where land remains relatively affordable. Rent prices are also climbing sharply, with tenants bearing the brunt of inflation and supply shortages, raising concerns about affordability for average Nigerians.
Now, moving on to the tax reform, the expansion reshaped the property landscape. Ongoing tax reforms and policy adjustments are beginning to reshape Nigeria's real estate sector. Developers are grappling with increased levies, land charges, and compliance costs, which are often transferred to end users through higher property prices and rents. At the same time, there are renewed efforts to improve mortgage accessibility through government-backed schemes and partnership with financial institutions. Industry stakeholders says that if properly implemented, improved mortgage financing could unlock home ownership for more Nigerians, though current high interest rates still pose a major barrier.
And lastly, on the news updates for real estate this afternoon, Africa's real estate market is gaining increasing attention from both local and international investors, with projections estimating the sector could reach about $347 billion by 2034. Key drivers include rapid urbanization, a growing middle class, and rising demand for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. And Nigeria, as Africa's largest economy, remains a major focal point despite economic challenges. Investors are particularly interested in mixed-use development, logistic hub, and affordable housing projects. Experts say improved infrastructure, regulatory clarity, and access to financing will be critical to sustaining investor confidence and unlocking the sector's full potential. All right, so that is for the news items, and interestingly, you just need to know some fact-based things, information that are very important because Nigeria's real estate sector remains one of the most active investment spaces in the economy, driven by rapid population growth, urban expansion, and increasing housing demand.
So, according to a recent report, the real estate sector is valued at about 58.16 trillion naira, while the construction sector stands at approximately 19.36 trillion naira, highlighting the scale and economic importance of the industry.
However, despite this high valuation, growth in actual output has slowed, largely due to inflation, rising construction costs, and infrastructure challenges.
And this brings critical questions to the forefront. How do land policies affect ownership? What truly determines land values? And most importantly, where does this real profit lie in today's market? And to help us unpack these issues, we are joined by a real estate advisor with practical hands-on experience in the industry. But before we bring her in today, let's go on a short break.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHalla TV.
ConsumerHallaTV.
ConsumerHalla TV.
At ConsumerHalla TV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our ConsumerHalla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard. And I'm Kikelamo Ajibola. Ta-da!
welcome back. If you are just joining, you're still welcome because we are just getting started. The topic for today's real estate is understanding real estate market. To help us unpack these issues, we are joined by a real estate advisor with practical hands-on experience in the industry. We have Adesuwa, real estate advisor and sales strategist. Thank you for joining us, Ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here too.
Yeah, all right. So let's get into our topic of discussion today as we get to understand so many things. It's very important we understand and lay emphasis on something. So it is a very
okay. Now, Ma, from your experience as an advisor, what are the biggest misconceptions Nigeria have about real estate investments?
Okay. So there are quite a couple of them.
Okay.
But I would say the first biggest misconception rather is the fact that there is no knowledge out there. There's not enough knowledge. So people think that you either have to be extremely wealthy for you to invest in real estate, or that is like a whole Pandora's box that if you open, there's something there. And then there's another part where there is not enough information. So of course, and then for those people who do not feel like they need to have all of the money, you want to get into real estate through the entry level point where, okay, if land is in all those locations where it's cheap and all of that, there's still not accurate information about how to invest. So sometimes, to be honest, real estate investment comes in different levels and in different categories. If you're entering into real estate, you don't have to just enter through land, which is land banking.
Okay.
Because the way that your funds and your finances are set up can either be that, yes, it's an entry level, it's if you buy it to leave it for many years, you're going to make your money. But if you're not doing it the right way, the right information, the right strategy, it's going to be one of the biggest mistakes that you can make as an investor. So I'll say that those are two of the biggest misconceptions in the real estate market or investing.
Yeah, I think I could agree with you with the fact that you said, the very first one you said, people are always waiting till they are financially buoyant. Which I think it is very reasonable, because most people will be like, where did I want to get money from? They don't know. You just have to like start. It's a gradual process.
It is a gradual process.
So let's look at land ownership now and investments, because there are several trends that shape how people, you know, that look at
There are a lot of trends at the moment.
Exactly. So people just see a lot of trends and they're just like, okay, I want to invest in it, probably without even having full information about it. So let's look at the major trends that shape the demand and investments in land and property.
Okay, so I will do two.
Okay.
I'll do the one that is okay. I'll just say what the trends, and then I'll say what the advantages are, and then if there are downsides to it. So I'll say one of the very first trends right now, is there's we all know this one. Everybody is moving to the urban areas. And the funny thing is, since I've been in primary school, they've always talked about rural urban migration, but it has not stopped. It is still continuing. So, and that's why there seems to be like a shortage of, housing in Lagos and, major cities in Nigeria. And it's not even just the shortage of housing right now, shortage of affordable housing. Now, which now brings us to another trend where the trend where there is an increase or demand for short-let market now, because over how the Nigerian dirty December economy has grown, and everybody's looking to cash out, and that industry just bags and collects a lot of money during those periods. So everybody, that is also a trend that people are looking to invest. Developers are hopping on the trend. Clients also, investors also want to get some of that short-let money. Another trend that is not so great is we know the increased rents. Like I already mentioned that there is really a need for housing. There is a huge demand for housing, but we do not have affordable housing. And that also now leads us to the part where, of course, certain things that are beyond the developer's control. Everything is expensive in Nigeria, so of course cost of construction is also expensive. So those are some of the trends. Another one is back in the days you had only few estates, but now there's a huge demand for estates. Everybody wants to live in an estate. If someone is looking for a house to rent, is it in an estate?
Yeah.
Of course, it's not bad because there are certain things, certain advantages. The lifestyle that comes with it. You want your privacy. Nobody's just knocking on your door all of a sudden. The security. So some things have also brought about some of the trends that we're seeing at the moment.
Okay. That was beautiful.
I don't even know how to react because and I think one way or the other, everybody, we just have that particular trends which we follow.
Yes.
It's either you are trying to get short-let apartments or you are crying over the increased rent or
Like,
the
they are quite relatable.
Exactly.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like a circle. They're interrelated.
So now, how do government policies directly impact land acquisition and property development?
Okay, so whether we like it or not, the government directly influences land. So first and foremost, for those who are in real estate or for those who invest in real estate, when they say when you're trying to sell, the client will ask you, okay, the C of O that's on the property, how let me use the layman term, how old is it? So you'd say, okay, 99 years, 100 years. So in the real time, all land belongs to government in the real sense of it. So that's why you have to go back to renew your C of O. That's why you still have to go back when there's change of ownership. You have to tell the government, oh, this land has moved from A to B, so we need to register. We need to. So it is important that we note from the foundation, yes, that that government policies affect real estate investment. So when we move to certain things, so I would say, for example, in Lagos, there are certain areas that are marked to be the places that are currently upcoming. You'd see their agricultural zones. So would always advise clients, when you want to buy, we need to get all of this information. Some places are not marked out for residents; they're marked for agriculture. Some places, are marked for industries. So I remember the time when the Dangote refinery train was going on. That was like a marketing strategy or an advert. A feature a lot of people would say it's close to the refinery, but the real sense of it, you're not supposed to be living too close to the refinery.
So true.
Yes. So and then there are policies, around the type of houses that you can build in certain locations. That's why you can get high rises in Victoria Island, but you cannot get those kind of high rises in other locations. So those are policies that would affect how property or land development happen in wherever we are.
I think you've already even highlighted some of the facts in the question one, where we talk about the misconception, and you talked about people are not really they are not well informed. Yes, they're not well informed, and that is why they are always getting into one or two concerning the real estate surroundings.
Yes,
All right, so let's look at it now. Still talking about government policies.
Yes.
Would you say, in a way, it has really enabled or limited people to have so much access or interest in real estate?
Yes, so I would say that in the past, we're in Nigeria, there's certain things that were put in place that sort of caused a hindrance. So when I say hindrance, when you're trying to apply for certain documents, you're trying to, all of those, you need to go to Alausa, you need someone to help you push to acts and all of that. So some of those things, because it's time that is taking. It's taking time, it's taking other resources. So that sort of constitutes an obstacle or a hindrance. But at the same time, we've also seen where the government is coming up with policies that, help generally in terms of, companies. The government is also collaborating with developers to come up with different estates, to do housing schemes. You'd see where the government is also even giving out some properties at subsidized rates. Certain things will be subsidized. And then one of the major policies that the government has, I think I'm going to the next question now.
It's fine. It's fine.
Should I carry on?
You're free.
Okay, so one of the major, will I say, improvements that has come is an innovation, rather. I would call it an innovation. It's the EGSI, so it's the Electronic Geographical Information System that someone recently introduced. So it's the most advanced land information service right now in Nigeria. So everything is digitized. So before, I know that it's still, they're still working on it, but at the end of the day, when they're done, that is what it is meant to be. So it is basically your land verification and everything that has to do with it digitized. So normally before, and even for me, it's always a hassle when a client wants to buy. We're now calling lawyers, we're getting the surveyors, we're getting this so that we can verify. But when that thing comes in place, you don't get that, oh, I bought fake land, oh, they gave me fake documents, because you can practically on your desk, on your table, get all the information that you want. You can verify the authenticity of the land, of the documents, the owners. You can go as far as even registering your own property, your own CFO, perfecting your title, your deed of assignment, your governor's consent, and all of that. So that, I would say, is one of the major highlights, and if that is fully implemented, it will help all those all those I lost money, I was duped. It would really cut it out.
Now, talking about this trend about promos, discounted prices, okay, how real is this trend?
Okay,
what's your take concerning this?
The honest truth is that promos have always been in existence. So it's real estate promo is not the new thing.
Yeah.
But promos are valid promos, they are legitimate promos, and then there are promos that are somehow. So promos have always been in existence, like I said. So if you just have to, and that's one of the things you would always hear in real estate, find out, do your research, investigate. And so yes, promos are a thing in the real estate industry. What affects, or what is the reason for the promo now will not differ. You'd see things like if a project is recently launched, in order to push it out there for the developer to get people in, they would sell at a discounted rate. So just to bring people in, sometimes as well, Christmas discount. Basically, promos are for sales for companies that do it legitimately. So it's to push sales. But for companies that you're not so sure of, when the promo is too cheap, I always say when the deal is too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Another thing to affect promo. So yes, our promo is good. Our promos, relevant in real estate. Yes, we're always looking for promos. We're always looking for discounts. But at the same time, I feel like it also waters down, some brands. Yeah. When it now becomes a case of you're always doing promo, every time that I see your advert, every time that I see your flyer, it is a promo. I begin to feel like maybe the price that you're giving me was actually not the price, and the promo price is the actual price now. So, but at the same time, like I say, always investigate, do your research, ask questions to be sure, so that the good deal you're getting eventually ends up as a good deal and not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Still talking about good deal or
bad deal.
Because at the end of the day, and there was a time a friend of mine, we were having a discussion, and I was like, all this promo, like if you say 50% discount off, because I've seen cases like that, and buyers are interested, they just want to know, and then they keep buying. So the question he was asking then was, how did they then make the money if you could make 50% of that moment? So that means, is that the actual price, or just because promo, or what's the underlying factor there?
Okay, so for example, when a project is recently launched, it's bare land. Nothing has happened there. You'd hear things like introductory price. So at that point, because they're also trying to sell to people, they're trying to market, no form of infrastructure has happened on that site. So you're buying them. It is possible that you can get good deals as at then. And then eventually, when the company moves the sites, they do the gatehouses, they start doing the road networks, they have already started investing some form of money there. So of course they're not going to bear that. Development has started coming. That's how real estate works. Development has started happening, whether it's in the location or whether it's just on the land. So that's how the appreciation starts to happen. So in a case where 50% off, to be honest, if I hear 50% off, I will look twice. I would like, oh, so it means that your project was really overpriced at first. But like I said, sometimes it's also a way to bring in money really fast. So sometimes the developer wants to get quick money to just maybe do a quick project and all of that, and then they do like a flash sale. Yes, you can get 50%. If I see 50% discount or 50% off for limited time offers, like 24 hours, a weekend, Black Friday, those are crazy discounts. Yes, but I would also not just tell you to jump in. Verify first, investigate, research, ask questions. But is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But at the same time, when it's now overdone, that's when I now start feeling like there's some vendors, even out of real estate, there's some vendors that they're always doing one sale or the other. It's either birthday sales, it's either coming out sales, Thanksgiving sales, Easter sales. So almost every time that I see them, it is sales. So when I see them post regularly, I just pass because it's not sales until I see sales before it grabs my attention. Now it can be a good thing for them. It can be a bad thing, because at the end of the day, they can actually even give you the regular price and tell me it's sales, and you will buy because in your head you've been conditioned to feel like this is sales. So there are other things that would now make you look. It's not just okay, promo. You can also, the other things that you weigh, other factors to consider, the features of the property, and then another great indicator is the projects that are around that place. What do they even averagely sell for? And then what the person you're buying from, what are they offering?
So true.
Yes.
So true. So before we allow you go, Elizabeth, do you want to ask any question?
Yeah, I think she has said it all, down from being knowledgeable. You have to have this knowledge, and before jumping into any offer, you have to make your research, you have to investigate to know how true it is this. Then you have to go through all this, you have to go through reliable source.
Yes.
Know that, these are the people that need to be there for me to be aware. So I think she has laid out a whole lot of things that are very quite insightful.
Sorry, I wanted to just chip in something. When I kept saying research, people would ask, okay, how can I do my research? So I would say that first and foremost, if you're going to deal, you see a property maybe from a development company. So usually in the past, people used to just do on money less, and that was what gave rise, because that was a problem. So you're not sure. One family or one whatever, they're selling to numerous people, and then that's what gave rise to the real estate development companies that we see now. And the idea behind that is that they're secure, but at the same time, there are just a lot of factors that surround authentic land. Sometimes you go into, even for the developers, they go into land transactions and it turns out not so great. Not their fault from the beginning, but how they handle it eventually is that that's what makes the difference. Because we're in a society that's really dynamic. But that aside, I would advise you get a realtor, get a lawyer, and I know the part where a lot of people, especially for people who are in diaspora, will say, "Oh, I have a brother who come and check and all of that." Yes, your brother or your relative is also not a professional. They can only tell you, based on what they see on the eye level, is what does the location look like. Your brother who is not a realtor, your sister who is not a realtor, or that person who is not a realtor cannot tell you the what's it called, the potential for growth for a particular location, because they don't have that information. But it's like a check and balance. What your realtor tells you, does it coincide what your brother tells you as regards location? Because sometimes people will say, "Oh, I got one cheap land. It said it's in Ajah. What's your own 100 million?" They're saying Ajah 5 million from LBS, and they're saying 45 million. And then when you find out the Ajah is not the Ajah.
It's not
even giant.
Ajah, or so. Yes, I know that there's the coastal road and all of that, but you have to be clear with what information that you give to clients. So work with your realtor basically, and I feel like you should also, ask your realtor questions or try to gauge. I sometimes I would not necessarily tell for clients who are new, get a surveyor, get a lawyer, get a this, get a that. It's too much for one person to handle. So once you have a realtor who is experienced, who is professional, the realtor knows all the routes to go. So I know that when my client tells me, if it's not a project that I have personally vetted and pushed to my client to start with, the client says, "Oh, I saw this. Take a look at it. What it is like? What is it like? Sorry." I will go there. I would see. Of course, physical inspection is very important. I tell them what I see, and then I'm the one who now tells the clients these are the steps that we need to take. We need to get a surveyor to get the coordinates to chart. We need to do the document verification to check and all of that. So yes, so I would say that for an entry level, that's the important thing. And your realtor should not just be about, oh, come buy, come buy, come and buy, come and buy, or come buy, come buy, come buy. You know what I said at the beginning, and I feel like it is a problem as much as it is a solution. It is a problem. So we keep telling people, especially the young people, come and invest in real estate. Start with as little as 100,000, start with as little as 200,000. But sometimes we don't tell people that, see, this money that it's an investment. So investment is not I put in today, I get tomorrow. That's not what it is. So we sell land, especially land banking, to people. Oh, come and buy property. You're not telling the person that, see, you're not going to get returns on investment immediately. And if this money that you're putting is money that you would be needing in the next 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months, you don't have any business putting it in real estate land. There are other forms of real estate that you can put your money in that now do returns. There are a couple of companies that do that. I'm not mention their names, but there are a couple of companies that do that. So some of them do buybacks. You pay for, they give you documents.
Yeah.
So in the, what is it called? In the transaction, it's a legitimate transaction. You're paying for a certain size of land, and they're giving you, and then eventually at the end of the tenure that you've chosen, they give you back your money and the interest that's accrued.
Wow.
There's also real estate trust funds like stock markets, where you can also invest in small. For example, this is a 100 square meters. You can buy 1 square meter out of it, and so eventually, if you need your money, you sell out and then you get your money back. So
these are just the
various forms of investment, various forms of investing in real estate. So it is not only just the traditional land and house. There's also the what's it called, the shopping malls now, the commercial real estate, where you people are buying shops. So initially, before it's just someone that will build shops and own shops, but now lots of shopping malls are coming up and people are building, and other people are getting into ownerships as well. So yes,
I think you really like explained so much.
Explored different.
This has indeed been a masterclass for anyone who's even for a first-time investor. You've given step by steps procedures that they can follow, and it's very good to have you on the show, because that for me we'll go on and on. So I just hope that people can learn and pick on us.
It's a continuous process.
Yes.
It's not
They need to learn a
one-time
lot.
thing. Yes.
Alright, clearly real estate success is not just about having the money, like Adesuwa said.
It is
about having the right knowledge, timing, and due diligence.
Yes.
So we go on a quick break now before we come to Consumer Corner, where Elizabeth always does justice to things you need to know when it comes to verifying property ownership.
Yeah, welcome back. Still on real estate and consumer corner as usual. Most of it being projected or being showed across. You already know if you're following. If you follow this conversation from the beginning till now, Madam Adesuwa already made justice on most of the consumer corners that is being projected. But then let's still have a look on what you need to know concerning consumer corners, the documents you really need to know about, how real those verified documents, and what you really need to know concerning the real estate itself.
All right, so you just know that documents, you being handed your documents does not just mean it's all about your ownership. And cheap land is not always a bargain, like you see on the screen. And so many other pieces of information. Use professionals. She highlighted that.
She
very
highlighted
important
that.
for you to use your professionals, your lawyers, your surveyors.
Real
Yeah,
talk.
survey plan is critical. Very important. And also, one thing you should never forget is always verify land status.
She talked about it. She even laid emphasis on it.
So these are things you need to know very well, and document define ownership. Don't let them just hand you the key because they hand you the key to the house and you don't have documents.
Don't let anybody just give you receipts.
Yeah, exactly. So don't say yes. I'm now a landlord,
Yes.
but at the end of the day, you
Landlord
don't even
no
own the land. Talk us of being busy.
The landlord.
So these are the real issues anyway. So do not forget that real estate remains one of the most powerful tools for building long-term wealth.
Yes.
But only when you get it right and you make the right decisions.
And the market well misinformation, policy gaps, and risky offers exist. Knowledge is not optional. It is your strongest protection.
Yes, before you invest, ask the right questions. The right questions are important. Verify every detail and fully understand what you are buying into.
Because in real estate, one wrong move can cost years of savings, while one informed decision can secure your future.
Absolutely, I agree with Elizabeth. Keep watching Real Estate Today for insights that keep you informed, protected, and stay ahead of the markets.
I am Elizabeth Abefe.
And I am Rimofeko Kuforola. And once again, thank you so much, Adesuwa,
Thank
for being
you
on
for
the show
having
today.
me. It's
Yeah.
a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
ma.
All right, invest smart and live better.
Bye for now.